Hi everyone, my name is Katie Donlin. I'm talking about a very, very important issue. At least it's important to me. I just graduated or am graduating from the University of Maine in Orono, and I'm a Massachusetts resident who is from, or what you'd call out of state. I want to talk about lowering the tuitions for in-state versus out-of-state students and why it's more beneficial to decrease the amount that a out-of-state student needs to pay to attend college. And this is speaking for any colleges because UMass Amherst is cheaper for me to go to, but has a better education than most schools. That's why students from all over the country attend. Also, for Ivy League schools as well, the tuition is much, much higher for out of state. Um, so currently, the in-state tuition for the University of Maine is $8,370 per semester, which is a lot of money. Excuse me, per year. Excuse me, not semester, per year. Um, this $8,370 is a lot of money, and I understand that you have lived in the state your entire life and need to pay taxes, of course. But I pay taxes in Mass. It's the exact same thing. And the out-of-state tuition, grossly enough, is $25,000 and 200. It's $25,000 and an extra 230 on the side. That's a great difference between 8,370, and it's very, very unfair because there's so many benefits from out-of-state students attending the University of Maine or any school, to say any school in general, but we're talking about University of Maine statistics right now. Um, let's see. Lowering the tuition will do many different things. One, it would increase diversity to better everyone's education. It's really hard to have the same, and I'm not saying that people in Maine are less educated, but it's nice to have different cultures and backgrounds to get a better perspective of what the world actually is. Um, with having out of state people, you'll also get different opinions. It's good to argue. You're also if no one ever argued with you, then everyone would become cookie cutter. Um, you'd also get different cultures and perspectives as well as opinions. This is really important as well because we would never know what was going on in the world if people didn't emerge in different societies. Um, Also, I figured this out on my own that, or it's a little obvious, but um, if you lower the tuition, you will get more students to apply because money is a very, very huge issue, especially at such a young age. 18 years old, if I didn't have help from my parents, I would never have even thought of going to college. Um, and if you think of it, more students is more money. Um, so why would you increase the money for outside of state students? That just shies away people to travel further. One positive, though, I will say that the fees for living and fees for books. So the fees besides actually attending the University of Maine for books and for living situations are equal, so that you will not pay more money if you attend the school. You will not pay more money, excuse me, if you're from out of state and live at school. It's going to cost the same amount for everyone. Um, but back to the more students, more money situation. With more students becomes more publicity. I know I've encouraged at least 10 different people who are looking at colleges to consider UMaine because I've had a really nice time and have really enjoyed myself and have have become a better person from going to UMaine. So with let's say those 10 people actually go to UMaine, but they can't. But what if they can't afford it? What if they decide to pick a Massachusetts state school instead when their potential in UMaine could increase by so much? Another thing with more publicity is more money. The more people that go to the school, the more money you're going to get. That's why more people are attending UMaine. They finally put out a commercial. Like, it took them how long? It took them how long to put on a commercial for the University of Maine? And I'm actually on it. Me and my girlfriends are on it. So cheers to that. But the sickening part that I kind of configured myself was that the in-state, I looked at UMaine as a bubble, and what the percentage was from out of state versus inside, and out of state, excuse me, versus in state, and who attended from the year I began to when I ended. So for undergrad of fall 2012, 6,741 students applied from in-state, which is great. I think that's great. Out of state was only 1,688 students. Obviously, that's a huge difference. It's not completely equal, which it really should be equal because it would just better everyone's education. Because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about money getting put toward education. Everything needs to be fair when it comes to an education. That's what we say to everyone, don't we? The amount of people who graduated in-state in 2012 was 1,583. This is a 76.5% chance of failure. I hate saying failure, but a 76.5% chance, 5% did not graduate from in-state. It ended up saying that 1,583 did graduate out of the 6,741. Surprisingly, out of the out-of-state students, which is the 1,688, 475 graduated. Thank you. 475 graduated, which is 28.13% of not graduating. Basically, 1,213 people who went to UMaine did not graduate. But that's only a 28.13% chance of dropping out, which is a really low chance compared to the 76. So if people from out of state are less likely to drop out, then why would you increase the tuition? Doesn't it just, the only thing that increasing tuition is doing is shying away students who cannot afford these. I mean, don't get me wrong. When it comes to finances, many people do get help from their parents. Me, I'm lucky enough to have that. But if I feel for the people who can't afford it and are unable to continue their education, because education is really, really important, which is why I'm taking this class. But that's it for now. I hope you learned something, or at least feel bad for me that I had to pay so much money, or feel bad for my parents. But anyway, thank you very much for listening, and I hope I persuaded you to lower the tuition of the University of Maine. Good night.